Hi, Dr. J here. I want to continue our conversation about getting godly foods into your body and also becoming more aware of and reducing the amounts of sugars that you're putting in your body. Now, we talked about that last week in regards to, hey, get more godly foods in, get more fruits, more vegetables, more lean meats and proteins, and it's really a noble concept. But when you actually start to try to apply it to your life, I can't be alone in thinking it gets kind of hard, right? Because you got not only your activities, but some of you out there might have children, you got their activities, not only school, but extracurricular activities as well. And on top of any hobbies you have, before you know it, your calendar is totally booked. And so it becomes harder and harder to truly eat healthier. And what I have used is a mantra that helps me to still succeed on a week in, week out basis with respect to my food choices and still have the craziness going on around my life. And that mantra is this: proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And what I mean by that is this, is when you actually take a look at your day or your week or even your month at large, you're going to know that you're going to have certain days or weeks that are going to be way more stressful than others, way more jam-packed. And as I alluded to in our goal setting video several videos back, you have to see those times coming up. You can see the obstacles coming and then start to create a solution that will still allow you to achieve your goals in the middle of a bunch of stress. And one of the ways I've done that over the last number of years is I use shakes. And I blend the fruits and the vegetables and proteins and fats to help me get the high levels of foods into my body that I need, but also make it easy for me to get it into my body throughout the course of a busy workday. Now, again, I'm a systems guy personally. I like my routines. And so what I'm about to show you is what I have every single morning, literally like every morning. Some of you out there who like variety, you can mix it up and change different things or try some different recipes, but this literally is my staple. Every day I do this. And I start my shake off with a foundation of vegetables, specifically kale, spinach, and even sometimes broccoli. And the reason I use those vegetables is it has been shown in research that those vegetables have very high anti-cancer properties to them. So I'm going to put those into my body to help nourish my body, stabilize my blood sugar, but also give me some fighting power against unnecessary diseases. The next thing I use are blueberries. The blueberries, again, is a high antioxidant fruit, meaning very high properties in that fruit for fighting off diseases. The next fruit I like to use is a banana or several bananas. I'll also might add in some pineapple in this scenario too. And the reason I use pineapple and banana is because those two fruits, the sugars in those fruits and the sweetness of those fruits are so great that it overwhelms or overtakes some of the vegetable taste of the spinach and the kale. The other thing I use from a vegetable standpoint, and it's not that it's a secret weapon, if you will, but it's something I use that most people don't, is something called spirulina. Now, spirulina is actually one of the oldest living forms of food on our planet. It's an algae that they harvest from the ocean. They dehydrate it and they put it into a powder form. And the reason I use spirulina is a number of reasons. One is pound for pound, if you will, it's got a higher density of protein than most meats. It's 50 to 75% protein. It also has a high level of B vitamins, which is really important for energy and metabolism. It also has a great effects with regards to detoxification and digestion. So spirulina is a must. I have this in every shake every day, regardless of if I ever change anything up. Spirulina is always in it. Now, from a standpoint of what I'm going to do for my proteins and my good fats, I'm going to use a couple things. First, I like to use butters. Nut butters particularly, like almond butter. You can use a peanut butter, but I choose to use almond butter. Almond butter has a high level of protein and also has a great deal of good fats that your body needs. I'll also take some real almonds, and I'll just take a handful of them and I'll put them in the blender. I've been using something as well this last year called MCT oil. Now what MCT oil is, and not to make this a huge science lesson, but it's an essential fat. It's a fat that your body needs for a number of great functions, including brain function, metabolism, digestion, and your overall energy level stability. So MCT oil is a must in my shakes now. Now, in today's shake, I didn't. However, some days I will put in a powdered form of protein to add a little more protein depending on what my needs are, whether I'm exercising a lot or if I'm going into a stressful time, I'll amp up my protein to give my body what it needs to fight through that. Personally, I use plant-based proteins. It just is, after all the years of trying this stuff and going through it in my athletic endeavors and using shakes for so long, I just found that my body, my digestive system resonates better with plant-based proteins, either pea or rice-based protein. Now, I put everything in here and then I add water. And then I blend it, get it to it. I like it personally. I don't like a thick shake. I like it to be very liquidy so it's easy for me to drink. Now, on the topic of a blender, you know, when my wife and I started doing this years ago, we would just get the traditional blender and we were just burning through the blenders. Literally, the motors were burning down because we were using them so often, and we kept on replacing them. And then eventually I kept on stepping up the blender, and going up the higher quality blender until eventually I just broke down and I got this thing called a Vitamix. This thing is a beast, and literally I can put frozen vegetables, frozen fruit, I can put anything in this thing and blend it, and it just pulverizes it. This company has been amazing as well for us. We had a part issue, I think, a couple of years ago, and we literally sent it back. They sent us one without any questions asked, a new one, no questions asked. It's a tremendous company, tremendous product, and it allows me to pulverize all my food and not have any issues with the blender itself. It's great, great, great stuff. Now, what I also do, as I mentioned to you, I make this so it lasts you the whole day. And what I do is I'll make enough where I can drink with breakfast, but then I'll fill up the rest of it in a blender. I'll fill up enough where I have enough in the blender where I can then put the rest in the thermos. This thermos goes into my refrigerator at work, and then in between patients or during a short break, not a break that's long enough for me to have real food, I'll just literally go in the back and have a couple swigs of this, because this thing has all my protein, all my good sugars, all my good fat, and all my good vegetables that I need to give me, again, that godly food that my body desires to be well, to have the energy I need to, and to give me the nutrients I need to predictably decrease the likelihood of me fighting disease. Now that's during my shake. One other thing I'll do throughout the course of the day is I will use pre-made bars, even beef jerkies, and bars that are made with nuts and honey that are pre-packaged, that if I don't have a lot of time, if I'm on the go in between a meeting and I leave the office or I'm going to pick up the kids, I got to get some quick calories, I'll eat that ahead or while I'm driving to make sure I get those good calories that are still made from whole, godly-based foods, and I'm not literally putting junk or candy into my system. Again, so when I do this with the shake, when I have my bars, and I also am a huge advocate of taking leftovers from the meal before, putting them in my glass containers and keeping them at work. When I do that, when I prepare the right way, I am able to control my mind and able to control my habits, so I'm not just reaching for more caffeine and more sugar just to get me through that day. So again, the big key here today, the big takeaway I hope that you got out today is proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Utilize a blender and blending fruits, vegetables, and your proteins for easy access in the morning when it's all crazy, but also throughout the course of your day. And then lastly, there's a plethora of products that are now available in traditional grocery stores and health food stores that are bars and quick foods types that are made from whole godly foods. Use these tools to make it so you can get your godly foods on the go. Hope this blessed some of you this week. Until we speak again, have a great day.